Hello YouTube world, this is Marco G here on Motorcycle Tips and Trips, and today I'm going to go over spoke weights, and they make different kinds. They make them silver, brass, and some of lead, where you could squeeze them on here, and this has a bolt, a little screw that you tighten with an Allen wrench, and you adhere it on there. So follow me and let's cover this. Okay folks, what we're going to do here, I'm going to show you a tip here and something that you could do. On this video, we're not going to use a wheel balancer. And you could get by without a wheel balancer, believe it or not, with the front wheel. What we're going to do, I'm going to lift this bike up and I will remove this caliper, hang it out, get it out of the way. And when this is up in the air, it is free wheeling. So you could balance your front tires on your axle that's here on this bike. And some that has two calipers, you take them both off and it will freewheel. On this bike, I cannot do that to my rear tire because I have a drive shaft. And sometimes the rear is a little different. But your front, you could get by checking your balance. I mean, lift up your bike in the air and see if the balance is right. But you got to remove the caliper. So that's what we're doing. So that's the tip of the day. So follow me. When you do it this way, the cheating way, these forks has to be straight. It has to be lined up. I got this cover blanket and I put it here so it's holding the steering wheel. You don't want it turned sideways left or right because it doesn't work well. So you got to make it as straight as possible. Use something like that. And this way it's straight and the balancing works right. Again, like I said, if it's twisted sideways, it will give you a false reading. Okay, let's move on. Okay, folks, we're back. This is your conventional weights that you have for motorcycles. They come a quarter weights and you put them together. They make some for different types of rims where you could snap them on. Those are better. And then on spoke wheels are totally different. Problem with the spoke wheels that the cast, when they make this chrome metal rim, the problem is it's uneven. It's not perfect even. Then you got these spokes. Then you got the nuts here that tightens up these spokes. That all could throw it away. Then also on these tires, even though this is a tubeless tire, spoke tires, you have to have a tube inside. If not, the air is going to exit out of these, where these spokes come out. Also, it has a rubber strap that goes around in this cavity here, and that can be done uneven also, besides the rim. So they're a pain to balance. There's not like your regular rim. So these spoke rims, spoke weights, works a whole lot better. Because you don't have to spread a bunch of quarters. It looks kind of tacky. I don't like the look, so I can show you right here, so you can see right there. That's how it looks. So it's not a nice look. I got a bunch here and I got a bunch on the other side. So that's what I don't like about them. But I want to use these spoke ones, and we're going to see how many we need. I'm going to probably end up being 3 ounces. So I'm going to end up using maybe the 1.5, 2 of those, hoping that will solve the problem there. So let's go from there. Forgot to mention, I got these mosquito. I got these those spoke weights on Amazon. You could buy them eBay, different places. Like I said, they come on different types, clamp-ons. You get them chrome, brass, like what I got, and there's some like kind of leads, you clamp them. I wish I could get those, but I had to buy a whole bunch of them, and I don't need that much, and it was expensive, so I didn't buy it that way because I'm not going to use that much. So spoke weights, they come a 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, 1 ounce, 1.25 ounces, 1.5 ounces, 1 3/4. So they're come in a pair. These spoke weights, you just tighten up with the Allen, and you can move it on all the different spokes, and then get it right. And then remember, don't forget, like I mentioned before, put Loctite on that. When you're balancing tire, what you're trying to find out, if you have a tire balancer, and we realize this is doing the same thing, that wherever the weight of the tire, the heaviest part, for example, if this is the heaviest, when you bring it up there, it's going to come down and stop right there. And vice versa. On this other side, if it's the same thing, it's going to come down here. No matter what, where the heaviest part of the tire with the rim will always balance to the bottom. And that's why you have to balance it, that the tire starts dribbling, because when it spins around, it pulls it and it shakes it, and then it just bounces. So on this bike, I'm going to do the same thing. This is the bottom, and you grab a chalk when you find that heavy spot, and you try your best to find the heaviest mark, and you mark it with the chalk. This way you know that is the spot. But I'm going to show you that, like here, I put it here at 9 o'clock, straight up. And most rims, regular rims, it's going to go slowly. But this rim, these spoke rims are off most of the time, and it teeters. So right here at 3 o'clock, I'm going to release it. And watch, see how quick it's moving? Tell you how off it's teetering. And like I said, most rims, it just comes down slowly to that spot. 3 ounces, so I'm using an ounce and a half, 2 of them. And whenever you use them, use one on one side, one on the other side. Even if you have to switch them up like this, you want them opposite side. You don't want to put all on one side. Another thing on these, I don't know if you could see this. That's the hole right there, and it's like a funnel. It stops where this weight thing is. This have a split here so you can slide it in. Now my advice is, do not put it in like this in the tire turning, because in case something happens, it does break loose, it's going to fly out. You want to put it sideways. So this way, the spoke is holding. Well, here this is skinny, but spoke is thicker than this. It doesn't wiggle. It's holding it, and if it does move a little bit, it's on there. It's not going to fly out. But if you do it this way, like if the tire's going this, it may at high speeds, it may fling it off if the loose screw get loose. So remember, put it sideways. See, this is square. Where the wrench is to tighten these, you make sure that this nut is on the flat side, not on the hump, because it could break loose. You want it on the flat side. I don't care if it's on this side, that side, whatever side, but make sure you're on the flat. Okay? All right. Okay, so you can see this is the marks I put it on. It went here. I put my Loctite on there because I already knew exactly where I was putting this. I'm putting this here. And it will stop. It won't go all the way to the rim, but make sure. Let me see if I can use this one. This is normally easy. Share my video, tell a friend. So that one's on there. Now I got to do the other side. Okay, guys, here we're back. I tighten that, tighten with the Allen. Now, when you're using the different weights to make sure where the weight is at, you don't have to crank this down, just enough to snug it. Just because you might have to move it, it might not be the right weight. I knew it was 3 ounces. Okay, now we're going to test it. It's counterweighting on each side. That's what you're doing, you're counterweighting. So I'm going to do the test. We're at 9 o'clock. And she's holding. When you take your hand off, be careful, because sometimes when you move your hand, you do this. You don't want that happening. When you think you're off and you're fine. That's 3 o'clock. It's holding. Next one is 4 to 5. Holding. Next one is 6, 7. Some people don't do that. I just like doing in case something, especially these kind of rims. You know, something could be just a hair off. And earlier I noticed that I put it one spot, it was working fine. Then I put it at 1.2 and 7.6. It started acting goofy, very slightly, but I moved it over one spoke, and there you are. She ain't moving. See, so look at the free play you have here. So yeah, you could do this. It works just as fine. So remember, like, subscribe, tell a friend, share. Say some comments, see what you think about this, and let me know. So I gotta go now. I gotta finish putting the caliper on, be done. Okay guys, I'm back. Here's the final conclusion on these spoke weights and the lead weights. I did a video on lead weights. You can look at that up, how to put that on. What I noticed with the spoke rims, it is best to use the spoke weights. With the lead weights, you're going to have strips of them, and so it's harder to balance it the way you need to balance it. You have too much weights because these rims they're unbalanced a lot, the way they make them. But I did notice, I rode with this, it was fine, but until I rode with the spoke weights, I could tell the difference, especially on the curves and the twisties where you're going. It's a much smoother because it's just a better balance to hit the weight in the concentrated area where you need it. So my advice is, if you take it into somewhere and ask for spoke weights, if you have spoke weights, and if they don't have spoke weights, go ahead, order some, buy some, and give it to them and tell them to put it on. And if you don't want them to do it, I have the video on both of these videos and show you how to balance the tire. It's real simple, especially the front tires. So like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. And I gotta go now because I have to go for my ride.